Thank you, Callie.
Do you have the words to Sacred Love right there?
I do. What do you ask?
Thank you.
You bet.
We may want those. I don't know. Oh, Kelly, you have such a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. We are so blessed here at Unity of Merced in so very many ways, with the musical talent and just with the love that we share with one another. This has been a kaleidoscope week. Just, you look in that kaleidoscope and you see all the different colors and you turn it and everything shifts, and that kind of feels like how life has been this week, at least in my world. Every time I turn it, all of the little pieces, all of those beautiful colored pieces just shake up and shift and change into a whole different view. I used to spend hours as a kid with my kaleidoscope. Did any of you, did you find it fascinating? I don't know what it was. What are the lives that we are living? What is the life that you are living? Is it a life where you are aware? Is it a life where you are paying attention? Where you can allow for all those shifts and changes and nuances without getting thrown off your game, without getting thrown off center? And if you do get thrown off center, you can just very easily come back. Come back to your breath. Come back to remembering who you are. We have to remember who we are. We get to remember, right? I read an article a few weeks ago, and it said, don't compare. And I went, ooh, that sounds like a great talk title, don't compare. So I tucked it away. I told Kelly that's where we were going. And I don't know where I put it. It's so fascinating when that happens. I kept trying to work with it and to make a talk that would fit into that without having the resource material that had sparked an interest in the first place. It went away. Maybe that was just a message for me in that particular moment. I don't know what state of mind I was in. But as I have been with that, this is one of the things that I've become aware of. You probably have all seen the memes, and you know certainly the sentiment of just always be kind. To be kind, because you don't know what anyone is going through, right? To just be kind. And it brought to mind, one of the things it brought to mind was the 10th commandment, thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not be envious. Thou shalt not compare ourselves to anyone else, but to live in our full identity, to live in our full authenticity. That comparing little mouse that can get in our brain and run around, running rampant all over the place, can come from a lot of different things. I remember a couple of instances where I was with someone who was so incensed and angry at the success of someone and the way that they were living their lives in a much different way than the person who was angry was living. She had so much envy that it was anger. instead of being able to just be in the moment. But it was fascinating to me how hurt this person was, and the bile and the vitriol that came out of them towards these other, just the other people weren't there in the moment, these very beautiful, innocent people. And I was like, wow, isn't that interesting? How instead of being happy and just feeling blessed for knowing people that do live lives that seem healthy and functional and well put together, instead can make someone so envious and so angry. Have you known those kind of instances? And another instance in that was a friend of mine became very distressed because she had received a letter from an acquaintance who just let her have it. This other person who had sent the letter was in a very, very difficult place. Very difficult financially, with health. In almost every area of their life, they felt like they were lacking, and they were afraid. They were scared. And they wrote a letter to my friend just saying, you can't possibly know how I feel. I mean, it was just like, oh my word, right? You don't know. You can't relate. You don't know. And my friend was so momentarily hurt by that. Because again, this was another person who had their life in order, who looked like that they had not a care in the world, right? And this other person was so envious of that and so angry at that, not even taking a moment to know the trials and tribulations that my friend had gone through and continually goes through with ongoing health issues in their family. Does this make sense, what I'm seeing? We don't know what other people's experiences are. Someone may look like they are on top of the world, but we don't know the backstory that got them to the top of the world. Be kind, always. Take a look at who you are and what is the kind of life that you are living, and not compare it to others. In this day and age, there's a lot of, maybe there always has been, of condemning the wealthy because they have so much. In my mind, with people like that I know, they are so very wealthy because they keep giving their wealth away. And who is it? Edwin Gaines for sure says, you can't outgive God. You can't outgive God. The more we give, the more we receive. To find a way in our lives to just be the observer. To be the observer of life. And whatever is going on in your world and in the greater world, to just keep shining light on that situation, on that person. To be grateful in every moment. And we need to stop complaining so much. And stop comparing so much. Us versus them all the time, right? Whatever that subject matter might be. We are all divine beings of the one source. I'm going to show you a picture that has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but it happens to be next in the queue, I think. Can you read that?
I love that.
This is Puxaquani Phil's ex-wife Phyllis, who now lives in Florida and said that Phil is a compulsive liar. We did have Groundhog Day this week. Excuse me. I don't know what the results were.
Early spring.
Early spring. So that's why she's saying Phil is a compulsive liar. What you may not be able to see on Phyllis's mouth is the powdered sugar on her top lip.
Yeah.
That just really makes the whole image. Okay, as I said, I don't think this has anything to do with anything. I just fell in love with the picture. But again, there she's gone. Phil's a compulsive liar, you know, always finding something to condemn something with. Everything that happens to you is your teacher. The secret is to learn to sit at the feet of your own life and be taught by it. Joseph Campbell wrote, excuse me, Nietzsche was the one who did the job for me. At a certain moment in his life, the idea came to him of what he called the love of your fate. Whatever your fate is, whatever happens, you say, this is what I need. It may look like a wreck, but go at it as though it were an opportunity, a challenge. If you bring love to that moment, not discouragement, you will find the strength is there. Any disaster you can survive is an improvement to your character, your stature, and your life. What a privilege. This is when the spontaneity of your own nature will have a chance to flow. Then, when looking back at your life, you will see that the moments that seem to be great failures, followed by wreckage, were the incidents that shaped the life that you have now. You'll see that this is really true. Nothing can happen to you that is not positive, even though it looks and feels at the moment like a negative crisis. It is not. The crisis throws you back, and when you are required to exhibit strength, it comes. Take a look at your life and celebrate that life. Celebrate your life with whatever is going on in the moment. And sometimes it can feel daunting. Part of the kaleidoscope, I've got to grab my water. Part of the kaleidoscope that I've been going through this week is I have a friend who has a friend, and that person has family that are still in Gaza. And she flew over from the East Coast. She's Palestinian. And she flew over from the East Coast to get her family out of Palestine. Oh. It just brings up so much where we can go into comparison. Where we can go into blame. Right? So much judgment. We don't know the big picture of anything. Sometimes I feel that statements like this, everything that happens to you is your teacher. The secret is to learn to sit at the feet of your own life and be taught by it. Seems rather trite when you're in the midst of the pain, when you're in the midst of the fear. We don't want to be told, oh, you'll get over it, it'll be okay. Not when you're in the midst of a crisis. Our friend was supposed to meet an American at the Rafah crossing yesterday. Our friend's parents, who are elderly, waited there for 9 hours and the American never showed up. And so they went back to their tent with the rest of their family that were not trying to cross with them at that time. That's just one story. One story of people that I know through my friend and my friend's daughter, right? And we continue just to lift them up in the light. Each and every person in that situation. As I was reflecting on this yesterday, I found myself just going into such deep gratitude, hearing about the wind that is supposed to be coming our way later today, and going around and making sure that all my devices are charged. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
All of my devices are charged. I am not living in a tent on the Gaza Strip. Or in Ukraine, or wherever in Israel, not knowing what your fate is. Anywhere, right? Anywhere on the planet, there is always something going on. Find a way to be in your own authority, to be in your own autonomy. Find a way to be in your own strength. This is how we help the world. To be the light. To be the sacred love. To be the sacred love. From the Silent Unity February prayer service, I embody divine wisdom, knowing God is the source of wisdom within. I rely upon intuition for all that is important in life. I meet every question or quandary with a listening spirit and a discerning mind. In silence, I am inspired. In action, I make wise choices. I am wisdom. I am light. I am life. I am love. I am grateful. Let these be your affirmations. We have an opportunity to be a light in our own life and in the light of the world. Find our own authenticity. Find a way to not compare, to not hold judgment, but to bless it all. It doesn't mean that we have to like what's going on. And to listen for what is ours to do if we have any power to help any situation in any way. But what is the energy that you are putting towards it? What is the energy that you are holding in your heart? From Dr. Howard Thurman, I will make of my talents whatever they are, a high priest or priestess of truth. This I do when I use them to enrich life, to render life more human, to make life more gracious and personal than what it otherwise would be. We have the opportunity to pay attention and to let go of our grudges and our judgments, and to just bless all that is. Find a way in your heart to be grateful. Whenever you go into a place that is hard, that is dark, if you can, take a breath and find something to be grateful for. Gratitude is the great light. Gratitude and love. What is the life that you are living? What is the life that you want to live? One of judgment and blame, or one of love and light? We get to choose. And so it is. And so we give thanks